Hello, my name is Andrea Sheely, and we are in week 8. I am going to do a video over some questions for part B. The questions are talking about a documentary we watched in part A. So the first one reads, "What did you learn from watching the documentary Graduating Peter?" So I was extremely surprised on just how long the process took for everything. It seemed like mom was really upset that she would attend meetings and she would want answers, and it was like, oh, you need to attend a different meeting in order to get the answers to these questions. It was just kind of very surprising how long the process was truly taking. It also was surprising that it seemed like they weren't really listening to mom's request. One of the meetings we watched, mom did not want Peter to be protected. She wanted to make sure that he was out there and living as normal of a life as he possibly could. Like the other students, he was getting to class on his own. And the teachers and the staff in that meeting didn't really seem to want to listen to that concept as he transitioned from middle school to high school. So the next question reads, discuss the federal laws that assisted in Peter's ability to attend class versus inclusion. So laws are now set up where the child is supposed to be included into the classroom, and that gives them the opportunity to be more normal, but also to give them experiences that children have the desire to be part of classrooms, be part of the learning experience, and not just pulling them out and pulling them away and not giving them the chance to interact with other children. So these laws also give Peter the opportunity to be in school up until the age of 21. Peter kind of was the exception because he did turn 21 during the middle of a school year, so they allowed him to continue until he was 22. However, at that point, once that school year was over, he graduated from school. So the next question reads, what were some psychological issues that Peter faced? I saw a lot in the documentary where Peter was kind of eating alone. He felt very isolated. It even seemed like even though he was included in the classroom, they would be working on different things. And so it was almost like there was just background noise. The teacher talking, he wouldn't pay attention because the assignments that the teachers were discussing, Peter wasn't really a part of. So I just felt like he has this huge isolation issue, which can become very psychological. Another issue that it mentioned several times during the documentary is that Peter is facing depression. He is taking medication. He had to trial different medications for his depression. And then finally, just the overall aspect of just constantly almost like being provoked by his mom. She insisted on tying his handkerchief for the Boy Scouts and just not really giving that opportunity to be his own person. He's just always constantly told what to do, and you can see him get agitated and frustrated throughout the documentary. Even at one point, like stealing food off of another kid's tray just because he can, and he's not going to get really in trouble for it because there's really no adults around during that scene, and also he is the kid with Down syndrome, so you can't correct him, you can't, and so although it's at times trying to normalize I just feel like it could have been looked at a greater angle to really provide true structure to Peter without getting in his face, kind of where his mom was constantly down his throat. So another question reads, as an OTR, what are some strategies that you would implement to target the psychological issues you mentioned? So I noticed that Peter is given no regulation strategies. Like his mom is constantly on him about dressing right or getting up or doing this or being at the bus stop in the right place. And he's given the aid to help get from one location to the other location, even though the mom requests not to have that. but he's not given any techniques on how to like self-regulate. Like if he's frustrated, can he walk away from a situation? If he's frustrated, can he do counting? Can he meditate? Does he perform yoga? Is there anything that he does enjoy that can kind of take his mind off of his frustrations or his agitations, his depression, all these issues and psychological things that are going on? But as the OTR, I would be teaching Peter, you are able and capable to manage your own emotions. Let's see what you need to do and what works best for you as the client to be able to just be successful in your life. The next question reads, as Peter ages out of the school system, what resources would you recommend to his parents? So Peter's actually doing a really good job in this aspect, I felt like. So resources I would recommend are volunteering, working, and Peter is working. He is in a work program where he works at a hotel in the kitchen. He puts away dishes after they've been washed. He is also volunteering. He helps manage the high school soccer team. He, does whatever they need him to do for the team, whether it's collecting balls, handing out water bottles. So those two aspects of volunteering and working are great. To take it a little bit of a step further, I might recommend some type of community program where Peter is around peers of his diagnosis. Sometimes when you're around those peers with the same diagnoses, you can kind of learn from them. You can learn techniques of, they're able to do X, Y, and Z because they've been able to be successful in therapy and learn techniques for meditation or self-regulation. So having that like follow-up group of not only volunteering and school, but a group that he meets with regularly where he can be himself and he doesn't have to be the non-normal kid or the kid who is different, but just the kid who is like every other kid in the room. Finally, do you feel there are enough resources for special needs young adults who are aged out of the school system, support and provide rationale? I have personal experience with this. I do have a stepsister who is special needs, and she is currently residing in a group home, and you can definitely tell since she's lived there for the last 4 years that she's gone downhill or backslide from where she was when she was in school. I do not believe that there are enough community resources for children who are at that weird age where they're no longer school-age children, but they're not able to necessarily get a full-time job and take care of themselves. Where do they go? What do they do? My stepsister is currently residing in a group home. In this group home, she is mobile, she is talkative, and a lot of the clients she's with are not mobile. They do not speak, so that's where you get that regression because she's not communicating on a regular basis with any other clients. She just kind of hangs out in her room by herself, and the only other option is to go to a nursing home or an assisted living or to live at home with your family. And unfortunately, with our parents still working full-time, there's no one there to watch her while she is home alone during the day, and unfortunately she can't take care of herself for that. So I definitely don't think that there are enough resources. It's just kind of like Peter's case where he's out of school and he kind of goes to this work program half a day, but then what does he do with the rest of his time? What is his schedule? What is his routine? How does mom get a chance to go to the grocery store? How does mom get a chance to attend caregiver meetings where she's able to de-stress and just really lay her heart out and make sure that she's okay as a caregiver? Because if we're not taking care of our caregivers, they're eventually going to get burnt out. So we need to make sure that people like Peter have these resources that are available to them, kind of to give them a schedule, to give them a sense of purpose, to make sure they're still part of the community and that they are needed and they are loved. And that's one of the great things about occupational therapy is we can be advocates, we can help set up these types of groups, we can establish meetings of clients where, I have a client, that has a very similar diagnosis and his family has been able to really prosper and really deal with the diagnosis and they've been successful in this aspect, and I really think that you guys would make a great team and you could work together, you could be friends. Obviously you have to mind HIPAA and get signatures and all of that, but that's the great thing about being a CODA is we get to be creative and we get to help our clients. So thank you. Have a great week 8. I will see you later.